Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Texas 2A video. I've got my next rendition of what I want to cover. This is one of my favorites. A lot of people call it a bastard or whatever have you, but that is the KS47 Generation 2 from Palmetto State Armory. This, I had been begging and pleading with Chad Wiley, one of the heads over there at our great affordable fun factory of ARs and other things, Pew. I really was doing my best to get that man to let me have a Gen 1 lower and upper, and he would not do it. He, for the love of God, would not let me have that, any part of it. He said no, he said they won't run right. He's like, it's not happening. And I appreciate that. I was willing to kind of deal with things and play around and have fun, because sometimes I enjoy troubleshooting things whenever they're not aggravating. But finally dropped. They finally brought them back. They've been out for a few months now with the re-release, the Generation 2. Palmetto State Armory has been notorious for releasing a Gen 1, having problems, and taking it away till they get it right. Recently with the AKV, that's primary example of how they're improving steadily. They released it within a couple months. They, if you want to call it recall, whatever, had them sent back. Re-released within a month and a half, 2 months. They had them back to all of those who purchased them and released them again to the public as re-released, not a Gen 2, not like this. This is a revision, pretty serious revision. They milled out a new lower and everything. They made these things solid. But testament to what they're doing and trying to constantly get better. I'll review the AKV later on, but this one I really wanted it because I'm a big fan of 7.62x39 for its price, and its 30 caliber projectile it's fun and knocks big holes and stuff compared to the little 22 caliber 5.56. This one didn't stay factory for long. This is my first Palmetto State Armory complete rifle. I immediately swapped out to a different stock that I had. I used to have a little angle here. I bought this and cut that out to give it the minimalist look because I like it. I wanted something to be a little bit different. Primary arms, flash hider, or brake, I'm sorry. This is a brake. It's nice. They'll every now and then drop these for like 20 bucks during a flash sale. This is a random angle foregrip that I find that's comfortable. I have another one of these on an AR9. Thoroughly enjoy this. Burris 332 optic. These are probably marked inside for a 5.56. I've got it hold at 0. Any further than that, I'll figure it out. The 7.62x39 is not notorious for trying to reach out 500-600 yards like a 5.56. 7.62 does not do that. Doesn't do it well anyway. A little radium charging handle, and did a couple of odds and ends to it just to, I don't know if you want to call it make it mine or not. But after owning several of the AR47s, Palmetto State Armory uppers and lowers that ate everything. One lower that I got had the incorrect buffer tube. I'm sorry, not tube, the buffer or spring. Anyway, it would not want to strip and take steel case ammo off the proprietary magazines I was using from C Products Defense. The weapons otherwise worked perfect, and that one happened to have a spare buffer and spring laying around. Swapped it out, that thing started eating all the steel case, just like the other couple that I had. But this guy, I went to the range with it first time out, went non-stop. It's like 1,300 or just shy of 1,300 rounds. I would not stop with it. Only reason I slowed down at all because the handguard, it allows the heat to dissipate. It was warming me up. I could only do so much to where I just didn't want to hold the damn thing anymore because it was getting warm. But she ships complete with one of these guys here, which is just a Generation 2 PMag, nothing spectacular, but they work. They lock in. I mean, front to back, the play is just non-existent. Side to side is just nothing there. I could swear I was using a Korean 40 rounder and it was working. They do have a little bitty touch of slop there. I don't know if I should do some grinding or a modification of welding to make that thing take up a little slack in the back. But it was disappointing. Today this gave me problems. I'll have the footage included. I already went to the range with this and recorded. It was giving me problems, but the issue I have, only issue I've ever really had with Palmetto State Armory is final assembly. Parts are great. I've run a lot of their complete uppers, a lot of their complete lowers. They've been phenomenal. If you buy one of these, it's going to come with their enhanced trigger already installed, and it's nothing spectacular. It's better than a mil-spec run of the junk, which is usually pretty heavy. It feels a little better. It pulls a little better. It's not stellar, but it's enhanced. It's not mil-spec, so it is an improvement. However, my final assembly issues I've had on PSA stuff's been like 20%. 20% of what I've bought, uppers and lowers, has had a spring leg out of place in the trigger system. It has had, I've had an incorrect buffer tube and spring that once I swapped it, it worked fine. It has had gas block misaligned or loose. Rails, I believe this rail on this guy was actually loose. So my habit for these is buy it, pull it apart, put it back together to make sure it's within spec if you just want that insurance. Because if not, if something's loose and not right, you can send it back to PSA. They will fix it. They will make it right, and that's fine. So if you don't have that capability, then you don't have the capability. However, this is a little bit different from your mil-spec carrier, but it is a little bit longer to be the full auto carrier group. These will work with a Falstech Echo trigger if you're willing to do a little bit of work to the drop-in trigger group system from Falstech, which is kind of a pain in the butt to want to buy something that's not exactly free and then do some grinding on it. But where this trigger group is situated, this right here is your mag paddle release. It does have a spring inside here, and where it rests you can do some marking and you can verify that it's making contact in a certain area on the Falstech trigger, and then you grind that out, give it a little home for that spring leg to sit, and you'll be rocking and rolling as long as you make sure your buffer weights are right. I have a couple of Echo triggers myself. They do work great. I've had to chase my tail on buffer weights. Don't want to say I was happy about it because I thought they were supposed to be out of the box perfect, which for some they are. For me, not so much. Now, this right here, when it locks in, it can move this direction here. This was a problem with the Generation 1, so Palmetto State Armory took this, and I'm not sure how good my lighting is going to be, but right here, they added two little lips to the inside that was suggested by purchasers. Us almighty consumers, people were taking tech screws, they were finding the right spot, they were drilling it and putting tech screws to keep that mag from rocking. What people were doing is they were trying to fire, they would rest the magazine on something and it would push up, and it was giving these things all kinds of fits. They were not running reliably like that. Now there is issues with these as far as what mags can you run. I've found that mine will run, of course, Magpul is fantastic. It's included if you buy it complete. If you buy the upper and lower separate, you shall get no magazine, and you'll have to buy your magazine, and there's nothing wrong with that. I have no issue with saving money because there's a built-in tax when you buy a firearm complete, especially these rifles, I guess. They're going to charge you. You get hit for extra little built-in fee that Palmetto, that whoever you're buying stuff from, they're not going to eat that charge. You are, so they charge you for it. Now, final assembly, as I was talking about before I got sidetracked, this little guy right here is what this feed lip, it's what it catches on. They did not make it so that this piece, this lower, actually supports that. You know, being alloy and aluminum, it'd be soft. These mags might allow it to last forever, but Korean, East German, whatever, anything you find that's steel, that would slowly wear away at this, and they did the right thing. They put some hardened material in there. I did not even think about checking the set screw that holds that thing in because it's not normal for an AR to need that. This is not exactly a mil-spec AR because they've altered things, and I missed touching that set screw. I should have caught it. I did have to apply a little bit of heat when I did get around to it to put another pin in it. One guy did tell me that, posted on KS47 Builders Group, said, hey, you guys aren't aware, if you have one of these, take that thing out, you know, clean it up, put it back in with some Loctite or whatever your favorite thread sealer is to keep it from moving. I said, because mine fell out. I have another guy gets on there, says, yeah, mine fell out too. I said, Palmetto said that I have to send my entire rifle in to fix that. I was like, really? He said, yeah. So it took them about a month. I said, hey man, you know, they're going to stand behind their stuff. They're going to fix it. Unconditional lifetime warranty on their products, and that is stellar. However, I did get a hold of some of their employees, and I said, hey, do I have to bother sending this in just to replace this one little bitty pin here? I mean, I'm just sitting there thinking it's kind of counterproductive to the company, because you're going to be eating shipping there and back versus the nothing it would take to send me a new one of these roll pins. They said, no, hey, I said, let me hook you up. I did have to wait. I don't know if they just didn't have any available at the time, if they're on hold, if they just kind of knew that what they had was going to go with the inventory that was fixing to be cranked out. Lo and behold, a couple weeks later, I got a package of 2 roll pins in there, and I'm like, great, throw it together, back in business. Now, this thing was so good, I ordered another one. I have a 10.5-inch pistol, and I can go over that later. Feel free to comment if it's something you want to see it in action, or what I have to say about it, what I've done to it. You know, let me know. I have it. That is the one component from Palmetto State Armory, before I get into my issues I had with this guy, that I had out of everything I've ever bought. I could pull it back, and when I would let it go, it would stop right about there, and it would not allow this thing to go all the way into battery. And not this one, my 10.5-inch pistol. So I took that bolt carrier group out and put it in this guy. Same thing. I could manually install the shell into the bolt, run it up in there by hand, get it all the way seated, and I could proceed to operate fairly well with it. And sometimes I could grab it, let it go when I was putting a new magazine in, because there's no lash round bolt hold open with this thing, just like an AK. There's not even a bolt hold, which I wish there was at least that in there, because when you go to make a clearing, you know, you're having to hold this thing back, pull the mag out, and one hand's tied up. You know, I manage. It doesn't make me not love this thing. You'll see other reviews where people are in love with this. So, whatever. Had the same problem in this upper and lower, so I got a hold of PSA. I said, hey, you know, this is what's going on. Do I need to send you this whole rifle? I said, it's doing it in my pistol and my rifle. They said, hey, just send us the bolt carrier group. I said, we'll replace it, you know, test it, whatever. I said, hey, fine by me, you know, because like I said, saving me time and shipping. They pay for shipping, no doubt, not a big deal, but I'd rather not send an entire firearm if I don't have to. It's just more weight, more headache versus this little box with a bolt in it. Send it. So they've got it right now. It should be back. That thing, 25 bolts of theirs I've used or more. That's the first one I've had any issue with. For all I know, I could have tuned it, played with it, made it work. It might have been the extractor just had too much spring tension behind it or something that wasn't wanting to jump over the back end of that shell. Could be all it was. I'd like to see if they could tell me, unless they just replace it and say, hey, here's another one, try it, you know, sorry for your inconvenience. Now, when this pin fell out, this thing right here, at the same time it fell out while this guy was sitting around, I had, what you can see here, it's a little 45-degree backup iron. I had one of those installed front and rear, and I did not like how far back it set on here to get my fingers to the charging handle. So what did I do? I machined it to sit on top of this a little better, because I could put it up there and it would not sit flat. It wasn't where it needed to be. So I kept machining the underside, finally got that booger to sit down where I wanted it, look real nice, and I just replaced this pin. And whenever the pin was missing, the mag was drooping, so the thing was trying to jam rounds down into the feed ramp versus up into the feed ramp. It was giving me fits. I was getting kind of frustrated for the moment that I tried a few different magazines, going, why is this thing that was working so stellar giving me problems? I just run the Romanian magazine through it, because it run East German, Romanian drum, worked great. I have some Bulgarians with the reinforced lips. I have not tried yet. They look stellar. I did hear that the front feed lip on them can break. You know, I'm going to be careful with them, I guess, using for range only, just in case. But the Korean steel 40 rounder, this guy was giving me blues. I want to say I thought it was working great before, so this may have been one of the ones that I had in here when that pin fell out. All right, and that might have been just jamming things in here because I was able to bend this way too easy. I don't know what this is made out of. It's either really crappy tin. I haven't taken a magnet to it. I'm sure it probably is. Put this new set of iron sights on, got my pin back, and since then I have been having so many blues with this thing running mags reliably. It was, I'm going to try, I've got some video software that I'm trying right now, uploading my first video over the Streebog. I was suggested to try another video editing program that I'm going to probably go ahead and download and try, because I couldn't do the effects I wanted. Fading didn't really show me an option to drop pictures in the video, and I was just like, I'm trying to make it nicer of an experience for people to watch, because I'm already having to make up for my annoying voice and probably poor character. But so this thing whooped my tail end. I end up saying, you know what, I'm not going to send this thing in. It was acting fine until I replaced this little guy, and then from there it started acting funny once it was in, and lo and behold, the day it hit me, I had been trying for 3 different outings to get this thing to run right. First outing I thought, it's dirty. I cleaned the crap out of everything. Same thing, did it again. So I'm like, okay, I spent a week waiting around on a BCM spring kit for the extractor, and I got a KAK machined extractor itself for the 762x39 on this bolt. It all shows up. I'm kind of on the fence. I was like, alright, let me just put the spring kit in. I throw the spring in, same extractor. I go back last week, same thing. It's kind of irritating because I left the new KAK extractor at the house. So, my fault, whatever. I kind of left it thinking, you know, the range, if you ever watching my previous videos or this video, if you hear me dropping stuff, you'll hear it hitting 10 below me. So they have, the boards are kind of stand upright, and below that's 10 to catch brass. So if you drop something, it's a headache to recover. I was worried I'd drop that little tiny little extractor. This guy right here. That little thing. You know, if I would have dropped that, it'd have been a big old headache to find it. So that was kind of aggravated. I didn't bring the new one, whatever. So this, what was it, last night? Or was it this morning? Yeah, it was this morning. I got this thing swapped out. That's the old one I just showed you. I went out there, I was playing with this, and I was getting nowhere quick. After a few magazines, and I was getting a little frustrated, I messaged Palmetto State Armory. I said, look, this is what's going on. I swapped the springs, I swapped the extractor. I said, this thing's still doing it. I was like, you know, I don't know what to do from here, so I guess I'm just gonna send you the bolt back, whatever. And then it hit me. I realized that my machine to fit over this backup iron sight, the rail of it, I already got mad and threw it away. I wish I kept it so I could show you on video or pictures. But I could see where brass, steel was slamming that thing. As it would come back, it would hit, and it was catching right back inside that bolt as it would close. That was my theory. I'm just like, this thing's been making contact. It's like, that's a problem. Well, what happened? I left my Allen heads at home, the 2 sets that I have. Usually one's in the range bag for tightening up odds and ends that take Allen head screws. So I got in there with a screwdriver, got up underneath it, and I did some prying, kept going until I broke that piece of cheap $40 crap and popped it off. I said, okay, let's try it. Slap in the, did I go with the Korean mag first? I have to look at footage. Either way, I think I was with the Korean footage, and it was a feeding issue, not an ejection issue. So I was like, okay, I'm pretty sure that's what I did. I unloaded it and loaded it into my almighty Gen 2 PMag that doesn't have the steel reinforcements like the new Gen 3 or whatever, the nicer ones. It ate flawless. 0 ejection issue, 0 fit issue. I'm like, okay, I'm getting excited. I feed it again, and by this time I'm like, okay, I should have had the camera on the whole time for this. So I loaded it up on the camera, I shot it. This thing was already hot. You know, I'm firing it, doing my thing, just dealing with the heat. It wasn't unbearable yet, but it's eating. It's eating fine. I said, okay, let me try this Korean piece of crap again. And I ran it, and same thing. I was having the issues. I did record where I was trying to compress these lips in to where they were kind of separated, and I've got them. I think the left side was feeding pretty well, so I might do some massaging with it later, try to get it to where it's 100% as well as a good 40 round magazine, if it'll work. And right now it's a piece of crap, but these are so good to me. You know, some people are going to say, oh, it's a piece of crap. You know, CMMG is better. CMMG Mutant is designed off of an AR-10 size platform, so you're able to get the larger bolt carrier group. It does have a little more material surrounding the bolt itself for the base of the shell. So the cartridges have, it's a little stronger, a little more support, but you're going to pay twice as much. This isn't a go-to system for me, so if it's a go-to system for you and you want that ultimate reliability factor type thing, go ahead. Out of the 4 AR-47s that I've never had a bolt lug break or any of that, and now I'm on number 2 of these that no breakage, and the third one will be here tomorrow. It's an 8.5 inch pistol. Upper, I got the lower already. I'm not seeing a justification in that, and it's heavier. These are pretty dang light. I will work on getting a scale. The only downside is I don't see myself going back and making another video just for weight. I would like to be able to add that feature in there on YouTube, but once it's uploaded, it's uploaded. Otherwise, this thing's been phenomenal. I remember right, I was looking for Gen 2 KS47 videos, and this is one that I couldn't get enough coverage of. I know TNP was in love with it, and I was like, yeah, you know, it's good to know. I mean, he's one of the guys that many people seek approval from. If he says it's good, we all say it's good. That's fine and all, but you're going to see stuff from me like me. I had my freaking issues. I might be the guy that's going to tell you, hey, I love this thing, but it gave me the blues because whatever my finding was. This one didn't give me blues, little stuff. TMP, nothing fancy. Everything I saw that he had, he was in love with that dang thing. I'm in love with this, but I'm not going to sit here and pretend, yeah, this stupid little pin falling out. And then my mistake, because I did not want to clear this, and I ground on it till it cleared so it would sit flush, and that thing, I did it to myself. Alright, I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I discovered it, because if someone, say one day, does the same dumb thing that I did and they're having a problem, they say, oh, well, God, guy, I'm glad you discovered that and made my life a little easier. Because, you know, some people might leave that on there and run forever and never have known that that was causing the problem. Just be like, this thing's a piece of crap, you know. And it's not. It's been stellar. I cannot wait to get my other bolt back. But I get my 8.5 inch upper tomorrow. I will put it together. I don't even think I have an optic for it yet. I might have a vortex venom I can throw on it. I just don't like the slim line with the vortex venom. Would need a riser for the cheek weld to be correct. That's really for my AKB, which I will go over later on. But yeah, any questions, concerns, comments on this thing, feel free to let me know. Now I kind of feel like an ass because on groups where guys asking about the KS47, I was like, yeah, you know, I love Palmetto State Armory, but I've been having ejection issues with this, and you know, yes, that pin fell out because stuff was loose. But the ejection issues, once that was replaced, was my fault. So I kind of feel like I'm giving misinformation. I want to tell you if stuff's good or bad. And if I say I was having problems and it ends up being my fault, I'm like, yeah, I can't take that back. I already printed it out there and people will take stuff and run with it. But that's why I always advise people to do your research. You know, look into stuff through and through. Just like this. I made this video because it's been covered, but I didn't see enough coverage. I didn't see enough people talking about it and going over any of the little stupid things like I've gone through. There's not enough information for me. And if you're like me, this is what you want to know. Hey, can someone jack their jaw on this and explain more? You know, did someone have problems with this thing? You know, because I'm finding stuff that people are like, oh man, it's been problematic, trouble-free. We don't all feed the same ammo. We don't all shoot the same. I'm down here in Texas. Houston area, it is hot. It's not that hot yet. you'll see as this channel's new, as I'm progressing, you're going to see me out there shooting, and I'm going to be probably just drenched in sweat. I'm fat for one, but the heat doesn't help. So, you know, it's just one of those deals that we live with down here this time of year. Humidity may or may not be a factor for things. I know I do my own hand rolls for stuff like this right here. This is how I load stuff with a high volume, and it's inside. There's a lot of guys up north have loading sheds and whatnot where they hang out, and they don't have the moisture problems we have. This, if this cap doesn't stay on here even inside, I bet the powder would go bad. So, like I said, please feel free to comment any of your concerns, if I'm annoying, if I'm repeating myself, if you like the channel, if you want to see more, anything, please, any feedback, positive or negative. I can take any criticism because I can't please everyone. Some people, just because it says Texas 2A video, they're like, Texas, I don't watch this guy, Texas sucks, you know. You can't please everyone, and I'm fine with that. But from here, I'm going to roll into the firing footage, and you'll be able to see some failures. Hopefully this video is not too long. I know some people are like me. I can watch someone like KS47 talk for 45 minutes, and you know, I might fall asleep because I'm tired watching. I was like, oh, you're falling asleep because that's boring. No, I'm just tired. But yeah, like I said, I'm just trying to do what I can to make something more informational and cover, even if people know about these and know how they work, but they're like, I want to find somebody that's had some problems with these just for peace of mind. Well, there it is. Mine has not been perfect, half because of assembly and half because, you know, human error. You know, I goobered up, I installed some stuff that I'm glad I figured it out. It's something I will remember from here on out. We're always learning, always getting better, hopefully moving forward, to become better at whatever we do as a hobby or a job, whatever skill. But alright, roll into this footage, and hopefully you guys enjoy what you see and maybe even get a laugh out of it. Alright. So, burst 332. It's 3 power. Radian charging handle, angle 4 grip. Swapped out the stock for something I liked a little better. Still MOE grip, factory KS47 hand trigger. Got some backup irons. So brake is from Primary Arms, and a little special, $20. Run some more steel case through this thing. So we got reliability issues fixed here. With the issues we had from the front pin walking out. What the sound's going to be like on this. It's going to sound pretty bad, but see if the damn thing's better or worse. Well, the extractor didn't do a goddamn thing. It's always nice. To the point where I guess Palmetto State Armory is going to have to take this thing back and figure it out unless I try another bolt, and we'll see if that works. But so far I've tried the BCM spring kit for the extractor, and then this is a KAK extractor and spring, and no improvement yet. So yeah, this thing was flawless until the stupid pin fell out, and it's been downhill since then. Back to the drawing board. Well, lo and behold, since I've had this thing back to 100% as far as parts go, I finally thought about something after I had noticed some marks on the backup iron sights. And it seems like every time I come out here I'm forgetting something. I was really excited with this rifle when I got it. 1,400 rounds in, started to malfunction, shooting stuff at a friend's house. And I found there was a front pin that is utilized to keep that magazine rocked in place and keep it level. Well, no big deal. It fell out, and I had got a hold of PSA, and they sent me a replacement, no problem. Put it together and been having issues ever since. I swapped the spring that goes to the extractor, hoping that would solve it. No dice. Then I swapped the entire extractor with a KK unit, just because I figured try it and see what happens. Worst case scenario is it doesn't work, right? Well, here we are today. Got the Allen wrenches at the house. I had to get a little gangster, get angry with things. I realized that this right here, sitting right here, was actually causing shells to deflect, hit this, and get caught back inside the damn bolt carrier group. So this whole time, I was thinking there was something wrong with my awesome KS47 rifle. There wasn't. It was me, in my effort to grind and machine a iron sight to fit as close up to my 332 optic as I could, and that was the problem. So, lo and behold, I've got first 10 rounds of this are polymer coated Monarch. I've been firing this 2 magazines worth, and she's nice and warm. I'm going to run it anyway, because if it can't run, warm, ain't no fun, right? But record my efforts to get a problem solved that I caused myself, and figure some footage of this thing running non-stop would be fine. That's it. She doesn't have a last round bolt hole open, but now I've got that thing so hot I can't hold it. It's little things. I just got done sending a Palmetto State Armory employee a message about my findings of not being able to get this thing to run right, mentioning the swapping of extractor and the spring and all that. So now I get to get a hold of them again and say, hey, that was operator error. Thank you for your time, but I'm very happy right now. All I wanted was this thing to run 100%, and it's back to that. And for those of you who want to know, this little pin right here, that's the pin that allows the magazine to rock in, and that's what keeps it level in the front. There is a set screw underneath here. If you take the takedown pin, flip it up, there's a set screw. Alright, Palmetto State Armory parts have always been great to me. That fell out because I guess your quality standard there is not quite where we want it, and that pin fell out. I got to where I go over my rifles, my uppers and lowers from them. This is a new system, my first KS47, and I missed it. I didn't check that out, and it would have avoided the headache in the first place. And I might have immediately noticed that my backup iron sights are causing issues. Instead, got the new pin, installed the pin, and before I got back to the range, I got to install this piece of crap, and well, here we are. I did have an issue out of this little Korean guy. I'm going to assume I should be able to stretch the spring on it and fix it, but right now it's just soft enough to where it's not keeping up if you've managed to run into a problem with these Korean 40 rounders, like I did, and find that the little spring was stretching, took care of it, let me know, because I'm going to try it in a minute, and I don't know if I'm going to want to put a video about that, or I might just say hell with it and keep y'all going, keep running, see if I can do some editing and fast forward it to get through the boring part of loading. But it was a very good day right now to know that I got my lovely KS47 back to run 110%. So I'm out of the crappy tool ammo. I've just got the Monarch, which is Monarch better? I don't know. We'll find out. Alright, to be continued.